Does self-development feel like a solo activity for you? Do you ever feel like you're traveling on the path of your spiritual development, but it feels like a lonely endeavor? That's what it felt like to me. For many years, self-development was something I did for myself, by myself, a lot of just internal work, introspective work. And I grew a lot during that time. It was hugely beneficial for me. But in recent years, I found that doing this kind of work in relationship with others has hugely accelerated my own progress. I really now see relationships as an amazing personal growth tool if it's done right. Here are 3 important ideas. This is what I would tell my younger self, who was totally treating self-development as an individual lone process. This is how I would try to convince him. The first idea is that relationship increases the intensity of whatever you do. So you get higher highs and lower lows. And this is really useful for personal growth. It's a bit like lifting heavier weights in the gym. The way I used to feel was that in relationship, especially in close relationships or romantic partners, family, very close friends, stuff would happen, feelings would come up that felt like, oh my God, this is too much for me to handle. And my response to that was to feel like I need to retreat, go work on myself, do some self-improvement, work through whatever issues, emotions, fears came up. And then when I fixed myself, then I can come back into relationship. This is classic avoidant stuff. And sometimes that is a reasonable approach. That is like walking up to a weight in the gym that you can't even budge, and you go, well, I'm going to do some exercises with lighter weights, maybe do some body weight exercises, work my way up to using weights. But other times, the right thing to do is to move the heavy weight. It's supposed to be heavy. The fact that it's heavy is exactly what the training effect comes from. Obviously, I would make much less progress in the gym if I walked away and did body weight exercises every time something feels a little bit heavy. In relationships, our fears, our insecurities, our shadows, our patterns get triggered. And yes, sometimes it's too much to handle, but sometimes the intensity of that, the intensity of how it brings out your fears and insecurities, the intensity of how it can bring out the worst in you is exactly the opportunity. It's an opportunity to practice. It's an opportunity to grow faster. Yes, it's more difficult, but that's the point. The second idea follows from this first one. Because of the higher intensity, you'll see things translate into real life faster. Personal development and spiritual development done in relationship has, for me, led to transformations in the outer world and the world around me. It's an implementation or an integration of the changes I'm experiencing into my life, into all aspects of my life at a much faster rate. Probably one of the best things you can do to improve your life in general is to develop integrity, and the shortcut to developing integrity is honesty. You get totally aligned by at first being totally honest. And there, the first step is, of course, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to stop lying to yourself. And then the next step is to stop lying to other people. That's how you bring it into relationship. Once you stop lying to yourself, that already makes a big difference. It will already lead to noticeable changes in your world. But once you stop lying to other people, things shift fast. What happens when you start speaking your desires and speaking your boundaries to other people directly and clearly? Yes, this will shake things up. This can feel like disruption at first. It can introduce a bunch of chaos into your life, and certainly some people, when you go through a change like this, will not want to be around you anymore. Some of the relationships in your life will come to an end when you step into real integrity. And some relationships will have to die in the sense that this old version of our relationship needs to die for a new one to emerge. This is why a lot of people get stuck. We are afraid to let go. We're afraid of this loss that is always a part of real growth. But when you have the courage to do this, things change fast, and it doesn't take long before you can see how everything is clearly changing for the better. Bringing your development into relationship is also an important step to avoid the problem of regressing in the presence of other people, where maybe you are making progress on your own, you are changing parts of your inner world, you're healing parts of yourself, but because you don't want to rock the boat, because you don't want to inconvenience anyone else, in the presence of other people, you always regress to the version of you that they're used to, that is comfortable for them. And as long as you do that, that is always a limit on how much you can actually grow and heal yourself. And it's also a great example of what it feels like to not be in integrity, because when you're doing that, It feels kind of gross, doesn't it? Now, this might make it sound like you're going to introduce a lot of friction and possible conflict by doing this. But like I mentioned, the increased intensity goes both ways. And the beautiful thing is that you can also invite other people into really deep and beautiful experiences. And this is one of the things that happens when you can be witnessed and become the witness to other people. Healing and emotional processing is often a matter of just witnessing and allowing. If you think of it in terms of internal family systems, IFS, you have these different parts in you, and often you might have a part of you that's causing you all kinds of trouble, and you're constantly in conflict with that, you're constantly resisting it, but all it really wants is to be fully seen and witnessed and accepted. And once that happens, all the problems that came from it dissolve. So often, we just have feelings that need to be fully felt. We just have things that need to be fully expressed, fully let out, and then we can let go. This is something you can do powerfully by yourself, but it's something you can do even more powerfully with others. For me, this is one of the most beautiful practices you can do in relationship. You can allow someone else to bring out those parts of themselves. You can allow someone else to be more fully themselves, be themselves in a way that they usually hold back from because they're afraid. And you can just be there and fully accept them, fully allow what is happening, fully love them as they are. And you can watch all the resistance and pain melt away. You can do this with people who have no idea what you're doing, who are not on the spiritual path, not into all this self-development stuff. Many people will follow the invitation if the opportunity arises, and it can be such a beautiful way to connect more deeply. And also many people will be happy to learn and want to do the same for you in return. Once they experience the power of this, the power of just being lovingly witnessed, the power of having a compassionate witness, they will want to do the same for you. And while doing the work purely internally through something like introspective writing or internal family systems work or anything like that can be beautiful and powerful, it is so much more powerful. And again, the changes can happen so much faster when you're doing it in the presence of someone else. So those are 3 ideas that I hope you find valuable for how to bring spiritual development and personal development into relationship. I will link below to my related videos that explain more about emotional charge and the importance of a compassionate witness, as well as some videos about attachment styles and about how to do relating and communication at a higher level. I also want to note that none of this invalidates the value of the solo work. Like I said in the beginning, I benefited immensely from the many years of solo work I did. And practices like introspective writing and shadow work were hugely transformative for me before I discovered the relational work. In fact, I would say that one of the reasons I've benefited so much from relational work is because of all the groundwork I did before. So please don't take any of this as discouragement from doing the solo work. This is really all just encouragement to bring more of it into relating as well. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.